All right, AI Day. That was freaking awesome. I am so excited to talk about it.
Unpacking that.
There was so much to it. I mean, 2 hours of just goodies in there. It had one purpose, though, and it might have been hard to tell what that purpose was.
You think?
I think so. I think for the average person, they were watching it thinking like, whoa, is this to, get the stock price up or something? No, it had everything to do with recruiting.
Oh, you didn't think it was about dancing robots the entire time?
Thought Elon was going to start a dancing robot studio.
You think it was Grimes in there the whole time?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Who could have that been?
That's some pretty good dance moves.
I don't know. I feel she could have been better. Yeah. So anyways, it seemed like it was a long technical explanation of their software and hardware. And at the big announcement about the project was Optimus.
Yes.
Optimus Subprime. Not a mortgage. Not a transformer either. It's a humanoid robot that Elon says will be producing next year.
Prototype. I mean, he says prototype, so let's not get our hopes up. But even the Tesla bot announcement and the Q&A at the end were also for recruiting purposes because Tesla is, let's face it, limited by talent. I mean, they said it a few times during the event. That's what's really limiting how fast they can move forward.
That's what makes a company better. So what else are they going to do? I mean, at the end of the day, they've been doing that for every one of their events. It's kind of like the call to action is, hey, we want smart people.
Yeah.
Come party with us. Let's make the world better. By the way, didn't you and Jesse actually make this prediction? You called this a while back.
I think we did. Check this out. All right, so the fifth technology we're going to talk about here is personal humanoid robots. In this decade coming up, we're going to get autonomous humanoid robots. Yeah, so I don't want to gloat or anything, but back in January, we kind of called it that they'd be making a humanoid robot this decade. I honestly didn't think it'd be this soon.
You could take a victory lap. Go ahead.
Okay, a little victory lap. We kind of knew that if you're working on autonomous driving cars, you're basically solving all the same problems you need to solve for a humanoid robot. So yeah, we kind of called it. So what do we know about Tesla Bot or project codenamed Optimus, which I don't know if they're supposed to let that cat out of the bag, but they did.
Yeah, no, you could tell from the engineer, like he said it, slipped, and then was just like,
got to roll with it now.
Yeah, and then Elon's like, yeah, that's what we're actually calling it, Optimus Subprime. So it's gonna be a humanoid. It's gonna have 2 hands. It's gonna have 10 fingers, a height of about 5'8", and weigh about 125 pounds, which that's actually pretty impressive for the size.
Right. Yeah.
Thought that would have been more weight.
Yeah.
It should be able to lift about 10 pounds with its arm and extend and deadlift 150 pounds and carry 45 pounds casually. And it'll have a max speed of only 5 miles per hour.
Yeah, and this is important to Elon, I guess, because he wants to make sure that we feel comfortable working around these humanoid robots and that we can escape if we need to.
Yeah, we're not able.
Here's what he said.
We're setting it such that it is, at a mechanical level, at a physical level, you can run away from it. And most likely overpower it. So hopefully that doesn't ever happen, but you never know. So it'll be a light, yeah, anyway, 5 miles an hour. If you can run faster than that, it'll be fine.
Like I just still 5 seems slow.
It seems fast to me, actually, because think about it. Like, yes, you could outrun a robot for a short period of time, but that thing can keep going.
Yeah,
I'm gonna run out of steam. It's gonna catch me.
Yeah, that's fair. And I guess Terminator. Most people have seen that, so it's like let's not turn it into that. So we're gonna let people know 5 mile max. I wonder if it actually it cycles down and it gets slower after running and chasing you.
Right.
I don't know. So Elon doesn't actually want it to be a part of dystopian future. He said that, in fact, Optimus would be friendly, which I'm curious at how they're going to solve that problem. It's fascinating to think, like, here's the guy that, he was probably the first person to raise the flag for we should watch out for AI.
Right.
And now he's creating
it.
But
this is kind of like every sci-fi movie that goes wrong.
The difference is, I mean, though he's warned us about it and he says like, hey, we should fear this. That's why he's doing it.
Right.
He's getting ahead of it.
Better for it to be in his hands.
We better have
else.
our own army first in case someone else, Bezos or anybody, decides to make their own robot.
Jeff who?
Yeah, I don't. What? Is he still in space? He should be.
So Elon wants this robot to do dangerous, repetitive, and boring tasks. And I think this is important to note. If Elon pulls this off, if Tesla can make a humanoid autonomous robot, and even if he's wrong about the timeline, even if it takes him longer than he thinks, even if it takes 3 years or 5 years or 7 years, then this marks a point in history that will change life for humans as we know it. This will be the first time in human history that humans do not have to do physical labor if they don't want to.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's amazing. I love doing physical stuff, but I don't like it when my wife tells me to do it. Like, I like to do it because I want to do it. And this is the difference, right? I mean, we all like to do, woodworking or working in the garden. But if you have to go weed, it's not the same. So yeah, I would love to be able to say, Tesla bot, go weed the garden.
Or even have a helper.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the neat part. It's like you can just double your workflow.
Right. I'm going to take a break. You keep weeding.
Yeah. I'm going to go get this cold iced tea. You keep going.
Should I get one for you or... Oh, no, you don't need one. That's right.
Oh, that's right. You want some batteries? You need batteries? But Elon said that humans can keep doing their physical labor if they want, but Optimus and its following generations of robots will be able to do the physical labor that humans don't want to do.
And this is profound in so many ways. I mean, you can immediately go to dystopian science fiction and say, this is horrible. We're going to be taken over by robots. And I think we should be very wary of this. But there are implications here that, like the Industrial Revolution, we can't even fathom yet.
Well, Elon did say we're going to need universal basic income.
Yeah,
here.
we're going to have to seriously talk about that now, not just like as a thing in the future. Like, we need to talk about it now so we can figure it out, because these humanoid robots are coming soon and they are going to displace jobs. Let's be honest.
Well, they say there's a labor shortage. I don't believe that. But
There won't be any more.
no, there definitely won't be any more.
I mean, how to handle societal impacts of humanoid autonomous robots is a bit above my pay grade, but we need to start thinking about this and imagining this future, because it's indeed coming.
Elon also talked about the economy and how it's limited by labor, and now that we have almost limitless labor, so ipso facto, almost a limitless economy.
Yeah, check out what he had to say.
This, I think, will be quite profound, because if you say, like, what is the economy? It is, at the foundation, it is labor. So what happens when there is, no shortage of labor? This is why I think long term that there will need to be universal basic income. Yeah, but I think essentially in the future, physical work will be a choice. If you want to do it, you can, but you won't need to do it. And I think it obviously has profound implications for the economy, because given that the economy at its foundational level is labor, I mean, capital equipment is just distilled labor, then is there any actual limit to the economy? Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, this is so exciting. We're going to be talking about this more in our Now You Know Investor Club bonus story, because this is going to have major implications for Tesla's value going forward. So join us on Patreon for that.
But let's get back to what the first version of Optimus is able to do.
Right. According to Elon, you should be able to tell it to go to the store and bring you back some groceries. And I think here's the amazing part. You could go out right now and buy a robot arm, right? Mm-hmm. It's about $15,000. But you would also need to code it down to the last nth degree. Like, most of these arms, you can't just be like, yeah, do that thing. You have to tell it, here, here's how you pick up that thing. And if anything changes, it's very hard for that arm to be like, oh, well, the thing that I'm supposed to pick up is not there.
As a child, I had a set of Legos called Mindstorm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, people might know that or not. I'm showing my age here. It was one of the first Lego systems that you could buy that had a actual CD-ROM.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, right?
Now you've dated yourself.
It had a CD-ROM that you plug in, you program your computer, and you can program the little motherboard bot and have it do certain tasks and functions. And one of my favorite things that I had it do was I would have it bring me, not the butter, not like the Rick and Morty reference, but like the salt and pepper was my big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would just pass the pepper and the salt towards me. Butter would have been pretty poetic too. And it just, my dad would get pissed because I want this at the table, and it's like, this is not the time. It's very cool what you're doing. I appreciate it, but this is not the time. But it's like, no, this is the time. And now look at where we've come.
Yeah.
Look at where we're going.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the big difference here is because it's going to be autonomous, you're not going to have to do, I mean, you probably
You
had
don't
to
have to do the coding.
You had to
No.
code that for days, I'm sure, to get it just right. So it would bring, and then if someone moved the salt, like, it probably had to go hunt around and,
Right. It wasn't that smart. It's like
Right.
somebody thinking of go get a Roomba, and they're like, hey, can you go, you have to put a note on top of the Roomba, please drop my groceries here and bring them back.
Right.
Like, it's only going to go in a straight line, and it's going to get lost on the way. This
Right.
is doing everything for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, imagine just being able to, just like you would explain to an employee that you hired, like, here's the nails, here's the hammer, do it. Same thing here. You're going to be able to give it very limited, like just voice instructions, and it should be able to follow it. And I think that's the part we're kind of overlooking. You're not going to need a whole team of engineers, software coders to tell this thing what to do. It's going to be your butler, your maid, your cook, whatever, out of the box.
Yeah. Speak. It's a Siri, speak into it, tell it what to do. It'll hopefully process and do it.
Yeah.
It's going to have, so there's 40 actuators, and there's a screen where its face will be able to give you useful information.
Yeah. I mean, there was some pushback during the Q&A where someone asked Elon why anyone would spend what will probably be a lot of money for a robot that can do manual labor.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the short to medium term economics of the bot. I guess I understand the long-term vision of replacing physical labor, but I also think repetitive, dangerous, and boring tasks tend to not be so highly compensated. And so I just don't see how to reproduce the, start with a supercar and then break into like the lower end of the market. How do you do that for a robot humanoid?
Well, I guess you'll just have to see.
I just love Elon's response.
Yeah. I mean, Elon wasn't there to discuss the revenue and the marketing implications, and that's why I think he dismissed this guy. Like, he wasn't there to try and sell you on it, because all he's trying to do is recruit great engineers, and he knew they would get it. And how about that question about these robots becoming human companions?
Because of its human form factor, is emotion or companionship at all thought about on the product roadmap at all?
Well, we certainly hope this does not feature in a dystopian sci-fi movie. Really, at this point, we're saying, like, maybe this robot can, we're trying to be as literal as possible. Can it do boring, dangerous, repetitive jobs that people don't want to do? And once we can have it do that, then maybe it can do other things too. But that's the thing that would be really great to have.
I mean, Lex Friedman would like that. I would too. I'm not gonna lie. I love you, Lex. It's fine. Like, it's kind of nice.
At any level of companionship, I'm sure that's what they're going to fill the void for, right? I mean, it's either going to be just working alongside them or more companionship than that. Well, and there's going to be companies that pop up that make different things for these robots.
It's your new barber.
Yeah.
It's like you tell everything to your barber.
And I mean, for people who say this is going to take my job, like, it's going to create new jobs, and that's one of them is companies that make things for the robots.
Robot lines. You call in and talk to.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, that's fair.
And I want to talk about some of the implications of Optimus.
Yeah, we know that Elon loves the makers.
Yeah, I mean, he said this before, right? If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff. But in many countries like the US, we have lost much of our manufacturing base, manufacturing which helped build our economy to what it is today.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, how many US companies today have had their products built somewhere else? China? Why? Labor rate. It's that simple. Everything's less there, so everybody's like, that's what we're going to do.
Right. I mean, if you and I wanted to start a company today with a factory here in the US, we probably couldn't compete depending on what we're making.
We'd try, but it's not going to happen.
Right. So we would be forced to outsource. This is going to allow us to bring labor back to this country. So what is Optimus going to do? It's going to bring back manufacturing to places like the US and Europe. It's going to have profound impacts on economies and on societies. And Optimus is going to speed up our colonization of Mars. That is Elon's true purpose, I think, behind Optimus Subprime.
Optimus Subprime.
Yeah, so I mean, what are the advantages going to be once Optimus is fully functional to colonizing Mars?
What aren't they going to be?
Right? I mean, the most dangerous part of colonizing Mars is the years of, travel. You may not come back, radiation. This bot doesn't care.
Sad to miss your bot, but
right.
It's off to do bigger and better things.
Yeah, so I mean, when Elon builds 1,000 starships and sends them off to Mars full of tens of thousands of bots, they can be building our city for us on Mars, and then it'll be all ready to move into.
Turnkey.
Huh,
welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to your new home, your new planet. So it just sounds so incredible to be able to say that.
Yeah.
And it still can be a reality real soon.
Yeah, I mean, we could be talking this decade.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching Now You Know Clips.
You can watch full episodes of Tesla Time News on Mondays and in-depths on Fridays. Just click the link down below to head over to the Now You Know channel.